Hello and welcome to another episode of Life Stuff 101. This is day 6 of the series of mini episodes as part of the Challenging Times Self-Care Challenge. My name is Mio Yokoi. I work as a registered psychotherapist in Toronto, Canada, and also as a coach and supporter to striving, highly sensitive folks everywhere. And before we begin, I'd like to make sure to mention that what I share on this podcast is for general information purposes only and not meant to be specific advice. And for personalized help, questions, or concerns you may have, please consult your doctor, appropriate medical, or mental health care provider. Welcome to day 6 of the Challenging Times Self-Care Challenge. We're in a time of some big changes, physical distancing and self-isolation, and it's something that many of us in the world are practicing right now. And as a therapist and as a fellow human being living through this time in our lives, I wanted to do something to hopefully contribute in some small way. I've decided to put together these daily mini episodes called the Challenging Times Self-Care Challenge. The goal here is to give you a little daily something to add a little bit of structure to your day to help with self-care. It's my hope that by building in some time for daily self-care, it might help to support your mental and emotional health during this time. Or even if these daily prompts serve as a distraction for a few minutes in your day, I hope that can help too. And I think that it's worth repeating every time in these episodes that at this time in our lives, just getting through moment to moment and day to day is a lot unto itself. And these daily self-care prompts are here to support you. So this challenge isn't about productivity or doing things quote unquote perfectly. It's really about self-care. And before we get into day 6, the day 5 challenge was to create a list of media which brings you joy. Something which can be especially important at a time like this is having a toolbox or a toolkit to support your mental health. This is something that a couple of my guests have discussed in previous episodes to help and manage mood difficulties like depression and anxiety. I spoke to author Debbie Brady in episode 23, where she talks about the importance of building a mental health toolkit. Her book, The Depression Survival Guide, is also a really great resource and available to purchase on Amazon. I'll be sure to link both episode 23 and her book in the show notes. To have a list of media that sparks joy for you, and also to just have a list of things that you've wanted to get done handy, means that if and when you need these resources, they are already there for you, as tools you can use when you might need them. So if you're noticing that you're dipping into a lower mood or feeling restless, you can reach into your self-care toolkit. And we will be continuing to build on this toolkit as our challenge continues. So that was a challenge for day 5. Create a list of media which brings you joy. I'd love to know how you made out with the day 5 of the challenge. What are some of the things you've added to your list of joy? Please share them because I'm always looking to add to my list as well. Please reach out to me on Twitter at LifeStuff101pod, on Instagram at LifeStuff101podcast, or on the website at LifeStuff101.com. Now it's time to get into day 6. Today's self-care prompt is this. When is the last time you laughed really hard? When is the last time you laughed really hard? Was it sometime recently or maybe a little while ago? Were you with someone or other people, or were you on your own? What was it that made you laugh that hard? Why do you think you did it? Today's challenge is to recall that last time you laughed so hard, and then to record when, what, where, why, and who was part of that time you laughed that hard. I mentioned this in the day 5 episode, but my husband and I somehow ended up watching a compilation video of live newscast bloopers. There were some clips in that video that had me laughing so hard I was tearing up. This was about a week ago, and because of those 15 or 20 minutes, I found that it completely lifted my spirits for the rest of the evening. So now I have that memory and resource in my back pocket for whenever I might need to pick me up. But what was it exactly about that video that was so funny? First of all, things that are unexpected and things going not so perfectly, I think is a reality for all of us. And when we can laugh at ourselves, I think in some ways we can all relate. When we see people dealing with misunderstandings or being caught off guard at something that makes us laugh, I think there's something really human and relatable in those kinds of experiences. Also, I think outside of the video, it felt really good for my husband and I to be enjoying ourselves and finding the same things really funny. I think it created a sense of connection for us, a sense that whether it's laughter or with this time in our lives, we're in it together, we're on the same page, and that felt comforting too. The day 5 of the self-care challenge is, let's remember the last time you laughed really hard. So, here are your steps for today's challenge. Number 1, set aside 10 minutes today to dedicate to completing today's self-care prompt. Number 2, before beginning, take 3 slow, deep breaths. Number 3, in whatever way you like to express yourself, make some kind of a physical record of that last time you laughed really hard, and also include the following. What was it that was so funny? Why was it so funny? Who was with you? Or were you alone? When was it? And number 4, end off the exercise by taking 3 slow, deep breaths. And number 5, when you're done, I would suggest including this as part of your self-care toolkit. I love to hear about the last time you laughed really hard, and I'd also like to know how you're doing. Reach out to me on Twitter at LifeStuff101pod or on Instagram at LifeStuff101podcast or on the website at LifeStuff101.com. So, that's day 6 of the Challenging Times Self-Care Challenge. When was the last time you laughed really hard? Thank you for participating in these challenges, and stay tuned for day 7 of the Challenging Times Self-Care Challenge. Until then, please stay safe and in good health wherever you are in the world, and I'll be speaking with you again for day 7 of the Challenging Times Self-Care Challenge real soon.